I'm Georgia Jean, and welcome to the next module of our intention portal. We took a little break there over the holiday weekend, and my internet was down. So I've decided to knock it out of the ballpark with the last videos here, because we really want to bring all of this work that we've been doing, generating your intentions, starting to focus on what it is that you want to let go of, what you're ready to create and manifest personally, and your vision for the planet as well in 2012. So I'm going to give you some tips now that are going to be game changers. Because as you remember, I've talked a lot about that when you have intentions and what you're focusing on, you start to summons up masses of energy in order to achieve or accomplish or make that happen. But simultaneously, everything within you that's in resistance to that is going to arise simultaneously. So you really need to learn how to work with the resistance and dissolve the resistance so you can benefit from that massive energy flowing through you and manifesting through you. So now I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how to discover where that unconscious resistance is existing within you. And, I've been studying this stuff for years and years and years and years and years. And I can tell you that these techniques are some of the most rapid ways to discover where your resistance is. I mean, you could do years and years of therapy and hypnotherapy and past life regression and energy work and all that kind of stuff to discover where your resistance is. This does it literally in seconds. So, drum roll, are you ready? Here we go. So, one of the first things that I usually work with clients, or the Circle of Light work with clients, is actually going into your worst case scenario. Now, I know a lot of people are like, "Woo, we got to be positive. Why would we want to do that? Blah, blah, blah. We're going to manifest it. Ah." Well, I got news for you, because, I'm a huge proponent that authentic positivity is way more powerful manifesting and creating energy than suppressive positivity, because suppressive positivity actually drains you as you're suppressing the stuff that you don't want to deal with. And so you want to discover where that unconscious energy is that's resonating with your worst case scenario, because if it's resonating with your worst case scenario, it's attracting your worst case scenario to you. And look, you may not be fully in alignment or all resonating at that energy, but that energy can really act like an anchor or a weight and kind of drag you down. So you're trying to generate all this positive energy about what you want, but you've got this sort of vibrational anchor dragging you down, pulling you down. So we always work with releasing the energy around the worst case scenario, because when you release resistance to your worst case scenario, when you free the energy that's vibrating at that level, now you've just got your energy moving towards your, guess what, best case scenario. Woo woo. So a really good thing to do to discover what your worst, where that's at, is to go into a worst case scenario for you. Now, this could be about your career, it could be about your family, it could be about a relationship experience, it could be about anything at all. What to you is a worst case scenario? And you want to really let yourself go there, okay? Don't worry, it's not going to crash down and land on your head if you let yourself go there. Just go there. So pick something now, as we've looked at all these different areas of life. Pick one of those areas where you can really connect to a worst case scenario, and just go into it and really see yourself in that worst case scenario. So take a few moments, visualize it, and connect with it. And when you connect to your worst case scenario, you may begin to notice that there's a place in your body where you're feeling extra tension or pain or resistance. or something else. And that's the place in your body where you're holding that energy that's resonating with your worst case scenario. So usually it's unconscious. So for example, a lot of people worry about money, da 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 da. But really what's underneath that is a fear that they're going to end up on the streets, homeless, and die there, unloved, with a family mad at them. That's really the worst case scenario when you really get into your money worries and you go down that road with it. Take it to the worst place, and that's often what is unconsciously that survival primitive fear energy that's feeding that worst case scenario. You may just be like, I can't pay this bill, but if you're like, I can't pay this bill, like you're going to die, that's because there's that unconscious fear around it. Or maybe the worst case scenario for relationship stuff is that you're never going to meet someone, or you're never going to connect with the soulmate. You're never going to experience that. You're going to die alone again. Again, a lot of the times there's a survival energy behind it. All kinds of things. So when you can go into, so just do it again, pick that worst case scenario and just start focusing on it, visualizing it, and just start to feel where in your body you're carrying the energy. And then what you want to do is you want to make that unconscious energy conscious by going into it with your attention, with your focus, and giving yourself permission to feel what's in there. That's the big thing. People are so afraid of their unconscious emotions. That's why they push it all down. But now you're big enough, you're strong enough, you're wise enough, you can feel a bit of emotion. It's just energy in motion. You want to go in there and unlock that frozen emotional energy, that frozen energy that resonates at the level of your worst case scenario. You want to go into it and you want to feel what it is in there, without judging it or resisting it. Now, there's a lot more that I can take you through with that, and that's what I do with my clients, but just through seeing that, you should be able to discover where you're carrying that unconscious energy that's resonating with your worst case scenario. So, super powerful. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, and usually what I do when I work with someone, we're going to go through the layers of the unconscious energy. We're going to release all the energy around that worst case scenario. So you basically kind of take it out of your vibrational signature, or out of your vibrational field, what you're resonating in. You want to get rid of that. Not the energy. This way you're unlocking the energy from that sort of vibrational shape and freeing that energy now to become creative, to become powerful creative energy that's moving towards your best case scenario. So now here's the technique that I use with the best case scenario to see where you've got resistance to allowing or believing in your best case scenario. So now with this one, I want you to again pick an area, any area that you really want to create something in. It could be your love life, it could be your career, it could be having a family, buying a home, anything like that. Anything that you feel is like a big, big thing that you want for yourself. So now go into it and go into an imagination of your best case scenario and really see it, go to town with it. If you want to manifest a house, don't see yourself in like some hole in the wall cave home, your first home. Go in, really visualize what your best case scenario it is, right? So take a little moment to do that. Really see it. See yourself in that best case scenario. All right. Now, on a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being the most believable, How believable is that scenario to you now? And just go with the first number that comes to your head. So that could be 50% believable to you. It could be 80% believable to you. It could be 20% believable to you. Whatever number that it is believable to you, that shows you how much of sort of you is in vibrational alignment with that best case scenario. So then what you want to do is you want to go into the other part, the part that's in resistance to it. So if you're 60% believing that can happen for you, you want to feel in to the 40% of resistance and go into it and just feel into the resistance and see what it's saying to you. Maybe it's saying, you can't have that. It might be saying, this will never happen. You don't deserve it. And this is what starts to reveal the belief structures that are anchoring you down, keeping you away from your best case scenario manifesting. So the point of this is to really discover where you're at in your vibrational alignment. And when you can go into the resistance, which either end, what you want to do, whether you're feeling resistance around your best case scenario or you're feeling the vibration that's resonating with your worst case scenario, you want to go into it without judgment, realizing that whatever that resistance is, it's just energy. It's not true or false or good or bad or right or wrong. It's just energy. And usually what people do when they discover resistance, then they go into their mind with it. Then they got to start analyzing it. They got to go into the story about it. They got to start thinking, where did this come from? Who did this to me? How did this happen? And you know what that does? That keeps you in your mind, right? And as I've talked about before, the mind is kind of like the enemy, or the soul is the enemy of the mind. So if you start analyzing with your mind, then you actually stay stuck in the resistance, because the resistance exists in the mind. So in order to transcend the resistance, you want to go into it without any judgment on it. You want to not buy into it, not resist it. Don't try and understand it. Don't try and analyze it. Don't try and figure it out. You just be with it. And by just being with it, without resistance, without judgment, it will actually just pop away. This may sound really simple, but it actually is really simple, but it's taken me many, many, many years of studying and working through this stuff and understanding it, and all my work with the Circle of Light, for me to really understand this core secret to manifesting and to creating and to getting out of the way. If you're spending a lot of time analyzing and worrying and trying to delve into your problems, it's like you're keeping it in the zone of the mind. And the mind is a place where resistance exists. When you go into the beyond mind, that's when you unleash that creative soul energy. So, really powerful stuff. Really powerful stuff. Start practicing it. Go back into all those things that you were thinking about, what you want to create, what you want to manifest, what you want to generate on. And feel into those best case, worst case scenarios and find out where your resistance is. And we've got a couple more of our energy meditations I'm doing. The times are down there. So if you're not participating on the conference calls with me live, please try and take the time to meditate or focus your intention during that time so you can benefit from the energy that we're generating in those conference calls as well. And I'll see you in the next video.